absolutely a pleasure to be here in LA to talk about Rackspace's Fanatical Support for AWS offering, and also to showcase our customer Infosnap here in a second, who have gone through a 15-year journey of being a self-hosted company and now all the way hosted on the AWS public cloud. So it's really a phenomenal story, and I'll let them say that. But getting started, what I thought I'd do is give you guys a little bit of context on where we are in the industry in terms of the era that we live in. So we've seen an absolutely astounding level of innovation over these past few years. And many of you guys might recognize this chart. It's in the esteemed Unicorns Club. But you've seen this acceleration of cloud-based business models. Companies that were born on the cloud many years ago, and now have matured to a point where they're actually very real businesses, right? And this is just a small snapshot of those companies. There are thousands underneath each of these. The other thing that's happened is disruptive innovation, a term that Clayton Christensen coined many years ago, is very real across every possible industry, across every possible geography. And that's what's really profound about these times. I think that people never estimated, or I think people generally underestimated how fast things would pick up. So companies essentially have three choices these days across industries. They can either disrupt the industry incumbent and take market share, which a lot of those companies that I just showed do on a daily basis. Or they could disrupt themselves as the incumbent in the space and live to see another day, hopefully. Or the third choice is for them to be disrupted, and that's never a good situation for them to be in. We also believe that the underlying forces of why this is happening beyond disruption relates to two problems. One is an economic problem, and one is a computer science problem. The economic problem is all around access to raw compute, storage, networking, bandwidth, like Boogie was saying earlier. And that is, reducing the cost of innovation very, very dramatically, right? And so companies are able to bootstrap and get started very, very quickly. For enterprises, this is another really great tool for them to innovate very rapidly within their business, to be responsive to their customers. And then finally, the computer science problem is to be able to really be agile in terms of your software development practices. And many companies, are trying to get to this nirvana stage, which is on the right side of what you're looking at, which is very much continuous kind of software delivery model with terms like DevOps and concepts like DevOps and continuous integration and continuous deployment and agile methodologies really driving how they actually deploy their applications. So the companies that were on the previous slide, they're pretty much they operate on the right side of the screen. Many modern enterprises are very aspirationally trying to do it on the right side as well. But for the vast majority of the companies that are across these industries, they're stuck somewhere in between these two kind of ends of the spectrum. And so that's where Rackspace comes in, right? So our mission and purpose in life is to basically be recognized as one of the world's greatest service companies. And in this era and age, what that's really about is to get customers to the cloud, help them make that transition, because technology is difficult. It is not easy. And we realize that. And it has been showcased by many people already, with Boogie and then obviously Med Decisions. So that's our goal. And we didn't come up with this mantra overnight, right? We've been doing this for over 15 years, like we've been talking about. We started with Fanatical Support back in '99. We partnered with Microsoft, VMware, launched Red Hat. We launched OpenStack in collaboration with NASA. And then earlier this year, we even launched Fanatical Support on top of the Azure cloud, like was mentioned earlier. So it only felt right that we would support the world's leading public cloud platform, which is AWS. And so that's what we did in October 2015 at re:Invent. And so for us, as as a leader in the managed cloud category and helping customers move to the cloud, it is very important for us to provide leading service on top of the leading technology platforms, and that's why we've done it with AWS, because it's literally from a customer perspective, they're getting the best of both worlds, right? So that is the idea. Our launch at re:Invent 2015, which was last month, was with the culmination of many activities, many of which were actually with AWS, who we partnered with very closely in the months leading up to that launch, to not only enable our folks on our team, but also work with our beta customers. We have a great set of beta customers that we started out with, that Infosnap is one of them, and we have many more that have joined since the program. And that has really been a great partnership with AWS to become an at-scale partner for them. So ultimately, at launch, we are an advanced consulting partner. We're a managed reseller, managed service partner of AWS. And the scale of our company, with 6,000 employees, or Rackers, as we like to call them, about 10% of those 6,000 people are either accredited or certified on AWS. And that's a very significant number. The industry in the managed services space has not seen those sort of numbers across, kind of at this point in time. So this is a very significant stance by our company. And the idea about how we're actually solving these problems is to take the world's leading tools and technologies, and that's not just the AWS product tool set, but also we're wrapping tooling and automation on top of their tools to make it really consumable and really highly scaled, and to combine that with the expertise that we have in droves around this topic to provide what we're calling fanatical support for AWS. And it's very important for us that we hold a very high bar for how we actually service customers. And so 100% of the folks that are interacting with our customers on this topic are AWS certified. And this is not a certification that we made up. This is AWS's certification. So it is very important for us to make sure that we provide customers with experts, true experts on the AWS platform. And so that's the idea. And the reason for that is that AWS has a really robust product set with features launching on a daily basis. And it's, this is only a snapshot of their features. Very, very powerful capability that customers can leverage and really launch their at-scale applications, which are API-enabled, et cetera, and get to that nirvana state that I was talking about, with this almost in a continuous software delivery method. And so for us, having experts on the team that can help customers utilize this portfolio is very important. We also know that customers are trying to solve some very, very specific things. They want to have highly available apps, highly secure, highly scalable based on demand, agile, like we've already talked about, and then optimized to make the most of their AWS spend. And we can help on all those dimensions. The use cases that we're really kind of helping customers on are migrating them to the AWS environment or to the AWS cloud, architecting them using best practices and tool sets like CloudFormation templates that we write for customers, and then ultimately managing those environments there either in a traditional SysOps type manner or using more automated DevOps type methodologies. And ultimately, securing those environments in a very, very robust way to make sure that they're protected. And the service levels, by the way, that we are offering as part of our managed services on AWS are essentially two things. One is Navigator, what we're calling, and Aviator is the second one. So Navigator is essentially where customers want more control over their AWS environment, and they can lean on us for best practice advice, take all our tooling around CloudFormation templates. They can leverage our teams for advice on how to use that portfolio that's very robust on AWS's side, but they retain control, and we are their guide. On the Aviator side, we are much more hands-on. We are very much providing all the Navigator benefits, but we do all the operational elements of monitoring their environments, writing custom CloudFormation templates, and really kind of bootstrapping their infrastructure environments to make sure that it runs in a highly scaled, automated, and it essentially recovers and scales very, very quickly. And so that additional tooling and automation that we're wrapping around the service is really powerful for customers that choose Aviator. And Infosnap is an example of that, who's an Aviator customer. And I won't go through kind of the whole feature set here, but the tooling, again, if you go back to kind of the two dimensions, it's tooling and human experts. Tooling is all around above AWS's portfolio. We are wrapping really great capability around things like unified logs, around how any sort of activity that's happening across their AWS accounts, whether dev, staging, production, to be in one place to get access to what's happening. To provide very deep opinions through something called Rackspace Compass around best practices on how best to run your AWS environments and infrastructure, using all the knowledge we've gained across our customer base. Passport, things like very secure temporary bastion access into these instances, which we partner with a company called ScaleFT that's sitting outside with us. And then on the human side, having what we do best, which is having experts at our customers' disposal and really having a single point of contact so they can get not only their environments monitored and managed, but having monthly operating reviews and really us being an extension of their team and responding to very aggressive SLAs to make sure that their environments are never down and they're all highly available all the time. And the good news is our customers have loved it so far, I'm happy to say, and Infosnap's one of them. And we've also got very good feedback from AWS, and they've acknowledged that this is above and beyond what they actually provide, and we're adding value on top of what they're actually doing. So it's very powerful for us to partner with them as an at-scale partner. And finally, I would say we want all our customers to look like this gentleman up here with a big grin on his face, because technology is hard, and we all know that, and you've heard a few examples of that. And we want to help customers get to this point where they're comfortable, they're happy, they've moved to the cloud, and they're making the most of their investment, and they're absolutely innovating to compete in the market, because it is competitive, as Boogie mentioned. So if you want to learn more, please go to rackspace.com/AWS. To learn more about our offering, or check us out outside. There's a booth that we've set up. But before I bring on Jonathan, just a quick video on Infosnap to introduce them.
For us, Rackspace really solved the issue of being able to get that AWS expertise within the company without having to hire a full staff of AWS architects. My name is Jonathan Issler. I'm the Director of Operational Technology here at Infosnap, and Infosnap is the leader in K-12 online-based registration management solutions. K-12 management covers registration solutions, online enrollments, applications, kind of all the gamut of the information that needs to be collected. We're able to take that data, clean it up, polish it, and deliver that into the custom SIS integrations that we've built. We pretty quickly grew and ran into issues where when the cable modem went out, servers were down. When that happened, it was, okay, this can't happen, and we signed on with Rackspace in 2004. As we've been expanding and we're building out our new next generation software packages, we decided that AWS really had the infrastructure we needed. We don't really have that AWS expertise. We have some experience with it, but not enough to be able to get a full production package up and running that's fully scalable. So what we needed to solve was getting that expertise into our company. Our account manager came to us and told us, hey, we're starting up this new program. We're going to be providing fanatical support for AWS. Is that something you'd be interested in being in the beta program of? And we said, absolutely, where do we sign? Rackspace was really able to meet us where we were. We were able to debug problems right away, work through the templates, and really just be able to make sure that we were set up and running the way we needed to very quickly. It helps me sleep a lot better at night knowing that I have Rackspace's expertise behind me 24/7.
All right, please welcome Jonathan Issler of Infosnap.
Thank you very much, Prashanth, and good morning, all. I'm Jonathan Issler, and I'm thrilled to be here today to give you a little bit about our story and how it is that Rackspace has helped us solidify our AWS cloud infrastructure. So PowerSchool's Infosnap product line is the leader in K-12 online-based registration management solutions. To give you an overview of what that means and what we do, we eliminate the inefficiencies in the paper registration process. We work with schools and districts to take their needs, whether that's admissions, registrations, or lottery, and be able to create a customized solution that's going to be able to meet their policies and requirements. The families are able to then go on and fill out forms, upload documents, make payments, and then the administrators are able to go in and take the information that's been submitted to them and process it according to their own workflows, whatever that may be. The student information is then taken and given into their student information system, their database, seamlessly to make sure that it's put where it needs to be and has all the data across all of their systems throughout their entire district. So we serve three different markets. We serve the public school districts, public charter schools, and independent and private schools. And the other aspect that Infosnap is known for is providing superhero support, both for the administrators and for the families throughout the entire process. What we work to provide is, and what sets us apart from our competitors, is providing secure, customized, and integrated solutions. We are hyper-focused on security, and we're among the first companies in the EdTech market to sign on to the Student Privacy Pledge back at the beginning of this year. The solutions that we provide are all customized to make sure that we fit all of the needs of our customers, and we offer the highest standard of quality integrations throughout the entire industry. We service 10,000 plus schools worldwide. While the majority of those are US based, we do serve schools on 5 of the 7 continents. A big part of that then is also making sure that we offer language options that allow the families to be able to fill out and read the forms in their own language. In 2014, we handled over 2 2 million form submissions. That saves tons of paper. And we're not stopping there, because in 2015, we've already handled over 2.5 million submissions. And we're not stopping. That's just picking up. For student registration processes, the busiest season, hands down, is during the summer. That's when the public school districts open up their registration, and thousands of families all across the world are registering millions of students. And that all happens in just about a 2-month period. Over this past summer, we saw at one point 4,500 families filling out forms on at once in our systems, and the servers just kept on humming. And we've continued to see a 40% year-over-year growth over the past several years. That has had a substantial impact on how we look at and handle our infrastructure and our plans going forward. And all of this is done with a hosting infrastructure team of 1. That's me. Well, I can't take all the credit. That's me and my Rackspace support team. They have been crucial to being able to help us to grow, to support that traffic. To give you an idea of what that looks like, when something happens or there's a problem, I'm the one that gets the call. I jump on it right away, and if it's not something that I'm able to handle on my own, I call my Rackspace support team. And they've been able to jump on it, and there hasn't been a problem that we've come up against yet that we haven't been able to solve. So we've come a long way in the past 15 years. When we started off, we were a small company, and we were looking to revolutionize and really help out the admissions process by creating online forms. This was in 2000, back when there really wasn't a lot of that, and the schools were really kind of adverse to taking things online, not really sure how that was going to work. And where we've grown to now is being a leader in the registration management solution market. When we started off, we were hosting and managing the servers ourselves. And like you saw in the video, we ran into an issue where a bad cable modem took our servers offline for multiple days. And we knew that this is not something that we could continue and sustain. So in 2004, we signed on with Rackspace. We figured we would let the experts make sure that our servers were available, and that allows us to build out and continue to grow our business. As we hit our stride and traffic began multiplying, Rackspace has really come alongside us to support us and make sure that we have a solid, dedicated infrastructure that helped us be able to manage the massive traffic and data growth that we were seeing. All that with providing, or while we maintained almost zero downtime and kept security as a top priority. And now as we're moving to the AWS cloud for some of our offerings, Rackspace has been able to continue to come alongside us and to make sure that we're building out the infrastructure and implementations that'll help take us to that next level. So as we began to build out our next generation technologies and seeing that massive traffic growth that was happening during the summer times, we were looking for the optimizations of both scale and pricing that the cloud offered us. After doing a lot of research, we found that the AWS cloud really fit our needs the best. So we started off down that path alone. We were able to, through following numerous guides and online systems and examples, be able to get that service up and running. And it was running for a short time. But when something went wrong, it went really wrong. And we didn't have anyone to turn to. There was no phone support, no email support, no ticket system, no nothing. We were completely on our own. So for me, that meant lots of late nights and long weekends, digging through logs, looking online at connectivity flowcharts, and trying to research the problems so we could get the servers back online, so that the developers could get back to what they needed to be doing and being able to hit their deadlines. Internally, we asked ourselves, who can provide us that Rackspace managed support that has been so crucial for our dedicated infrastructure in the AWS cloud? So we turned to the AWS partner database and started looking through and trying to find someone that was matching what Rackspace was able to offer us on the dedicated side. But what we found was that a lot of the partners either handle customers with very large AWS deployments, and that wasn't where we were. We were a new company who was just starting up, and we were not that large in the AWS infrastructure. Or they really wanted to handle the full stack. They wanted to do the architecture, the planning, the development, the deployment, and then the services after that. We really already have the development and the systems expertise in-house. What we needed was the AWS expertise and knowledge to come alongside that to complete this. Well, and Rackspace to the rescue. So when we found out that they were going to be offering support for AWS, we called them up and said, where can we sign? How fast can we get this going? We need your guys' help right away. What the Fanatical Support for AWS team has provided us with is advice and implementation for our architectures, being able to really help us to understand what it is that we can use in AWS and how that best fits into our systems and our services. They've provided us with security and high availability best practices, being able to make sure that we know all of the differences and how to best make use of the AWS cloud for that. Providing knowledgeable support, being able to help us solve specific pain points that we had been feeling throughout the period and get the DevOps side really automated. And then being flexible, always being able to work with us where we were. We were able to get Slack up and running and be able to work with them and talk with them through that implementation process and have that real-time feedback. So what we have now is CloudFormation templates that are built out that include the security and high availability best practices and includes our workflows in them. We're able to spin up test and development systems whenever we're looking at trying to resolve a problem or building out a new branch on Git, being able to spin that up that exactly mirrors our production system within a matter of minutes. That means we're able to get the developers what they need, they can do what they need to do, and move on to the next thing. Additionally, whenever services or management infrastructure requires changes, so when something happens and we need to tweak how that works, we've been able to adjust the templates to adapt to that and then seamlessly push that out over all the environments that we have out there. It's saved us tons of time. It's been very crucial for us. So what we found is truly the best combination, both of the cloud infrastructure with AWS and the world's leader in managed services with Rackspace. My Fanatical Support for AWS team has helped me by filling in the missing bit of AWS knowledge that we had and being able to come alongside and really fortify our team up with that. Their experts have helped us to wrestle with some really complex technical situations and find the best solutions for that. They've been able to help us make better use of our investment with AWS by learning about the new services that are coming out, like things were announced at reInvent. And then there's a great group to work with. Sometimes even when everything's running smoothly and we don't have any issues, or just talks through some of the new things that are coming out and whatever happens to be happening at that point. So if you have any workloads that are running in the AWS cloud, I really, really recommend that you check these guys out and see if they aren't able to help you take your systems to the next level. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.